Hey, welcome to TheTomsters Show. Welcome to episode 10 of TheTomsters Show. Crazy to say that. I'm very excited to hit double digits of the show. I'm your host, Tommy Johnson of TheTomsters Show, and I'm going to start by addressing the obvious. Yes, it is true. I was not invited. I was not invited to Taylor and Travis's wedding. I sincerely thought that if your name started with a T, you got to go for free. And turns out that's not the case. I showed up to Madison Square Garden and I was turned away. And I am utterly disappointed and infuriated, and I don't know how I'm going to recover from this. No, just kidding. Gotcha. Was not invited. Did not think I was invited. The obvious is that I got a haircut. If you are not watching this, just listening, it is true. My mullet is gone. I've had a mullet. The last time I got a haircut was November 2025. So it had been, 8 months? Wow. A long time. My hair is quite short now. It is very hot here in Texas, of course, in the summertime in July. So getting a haircut, a great idea for the heat of my head, the temperature of my head, and also it was just too long. Okay, it was just taking too long to take care of, and I was wearing hats all the time because I was like, I don't want to do my hair today. I'll just wear a hat, and then it turns out I was wearing a hat like every day. So that was a sure sign to give it a redo, give it a little new do on the head. So I got a haircut and I'm happy about it. And yeah, today though, I do want to start off talking about Travis and Taylor and marriage and love and weddings. That is the topic of today. Taylor Swift, Travis Kelce married. They are married. All right. They shocked the world when they were first dating, and she was showing up to Chiefs games, and the channels would put her up on the screen, and small-minded and small other-placed men were getting very upset about Taylor Swift being shown on their screen. Womp womp. Okay, that's what I had to say to them then, what I have to say to them now. Womp womp. And guess what? She's going to be there all the time now because they're married, so get over it. Although, not sure how much longer Travis will play, but hopefully not much longer. And I say that as a Buffalo Bills fan. Now I'm going to cry again. On the real, though, Travis Kelce has made me cry more than I like to care to admit. Not him specifically, and it's not because I like him, but it's because his team beating my team in the games that matter most. In the playoffs, the Chiefs have had the Bills a number for 4 times now in the last number of years. And one of those games was a real tough one, and it was Travis Kelce scoring the game-winning touchdown in overtime. So Travis Kelce as a football player, objectively, I understand is good. I can call that. But as a fan of the Bills, can't wait for him to be done. But Travis and Taylor getting married, a lot of people, a lot of opinions. A lot of people had a lot of opinions. A lot of people that I saw very, very much did not like her venue of choice. Madison Square Garden, the arena out in New York City, obviously home of the world champion New York Knicks, but not just a basketball arena. That might be a primary purpose today, but obviously an arena a place to hold a lot of people, and in the biggest city in the United States. Makes sense to me, honestly, why the biggest star in the States got married in the arena of the biggest city in the States. So, I don't know. I really was, I wasn't surprised at all because Taylor Swift has reached a tier on the celebrity list that I call, she has fart fans, okay? When you get as famous as her, you get fart fans. What I mean by that is you're so famous that you could fart and your fans would be like, oh my gosh, what a fart. Okay? It's a rare place to be, and the more fart fans you have, the more the more popular you are. That's, to me, someone's like, how popular are they? Well, how many fart fans do they have? Okay. And so Taylor Swift, the most fart fans of anybody outside maybe Messi and Ronaldo, maybe some soccer stars out there because of the popularity of soccer, but she's up there with the fart fan rankings. And she and Travis getting married, literally everyone who's a someone was there. Benson Boone, I guess, was there, which I thought was interesting. I'm curious how many flips he did, because I know the number can't be 0. So like one in between one and what, like at least one. Maybe that was his wedding gift. Check this out. Whoop. Maybe 2. Like a hello and a goodbye flip. I don't know how the flip culture kind of treats weddings, but guys, I was just recording for some amount of time, and it wasn't even I used my phone to record video, and I was yapping for like 10 minutes, and my camera wasn't on. This phone that I'm using, its storage got full, and so I've just been talking to myself here. There is audio of what I was saying. So yeah, now the video's back. Let's just jump right back in. Let me try to remember what I was talking about. That's hilarious. I'm so happy I looked, though. I was just like, let's see if it's... oh, wait, why is it not recording? That would have been so much more sad. So much more sad if I had gone 20, 30, 40 minutes deep yapping, and by the end of it all, I just go and I see storage full. But, okay, we're back. So, yeah, so weddings have been on my mind. Love has been on my mind. And marriage has been on my mind because of this big wedding of Travis and Taylor and everybody's opinions on it. And it made me think of my wedding, okay? My marriage. And can I tell you about my wedding? A resounding yes. Great. So Madison and I were married September 2019. We were Mormon at the time, so buckle up. Mormon weddings, not like a normal wedding at all. So if you've never been Mormon, here we go. So in Mormonism, a marriage is the most important thing that you can do while on earth. Okay? Why is that? Well, within Mormonism, there are things that one can do to get closer to God that, one, are necessary to do to live with God in the afterlife, and two, something that you can only do while you're on earth. Okay, so you have to do it before you die. There's a little asterisk to that that I'll talk about maybe later, where there are proxy things. So people can be dead, and then people who are alive do it for and in behalf of them. But plan A is for you to be alive and to do these things. Baptism is one of them. These are called saving ordinances. Okay, baptism. There is confirmation and the gift of the Holy Ghost, the reception of the gift of the Holy Ghost. There is, if you're a man, ordination to the priesthood is an ordinance, not necessarily a saving ordinance, but that's one. And then getting sealed. Okay, sealed in marriage, pretty much synonymous in Mormonism. When dealing with a husband and wife, you can be sealed to your family. Obviously, you're not getting married to your kids, but the ultimate sealing is between a man and a woman in the act of marriage. And what that does, what a sealing does, is seals this relationship, this marital relationship, for not just life, but for forever. So that when you die, you're still married. And again, within Mormonism, being married is necessary. Being sealed is necessary to reach the highest level of the highest level of heaven. And I know I said that twice, so maybe that doesn't make sense. In Mormonism, there are 3 tiers, basically, to the afterlife. Celestial, terrestrial, telestial. These bottom 2, you don't want to go there, okay? But the top one, celestial, that's where God lives. That's where Jesus lives. And that's where you can be happy for forever with your family. Families don't exist in these bottom ones. Weird. But in this top one, you can be with your family, with your spouse, within the celestial kingdom. So it's already number 1 of 3. But within the celestial kingdom, there's tiers in that too, apparently. Mormonism doesn't teach much about the tiers within the celestial kingdom, except that the tippity top, to have your ticket punched to the tippity top, you got to be sealed to a spouse. And so that's what me and Madison did. We were sealed as an act of legal marriage was happening at the same time, but we were also being sealed with religious ramifications as well. So we're in the temple, okay? Well, you know what? Let's take it back. If you know, well, if you don't know, Mormonism, the Mormon church builds temples all across the world. There are a good chunk of them. The most famous, Salt Lake City, built in the 1800s, still standing. Has been closed for a little bit, actually, for some renovations, to be opened quite soon and open to the public for a time, where you can go if you want and walk around, take a tour. That's happening in San Diego right now, or at least recently was. I don't know when those tours will be done, because at some point they will be done, and then you can't go in if you're not Mormon and found worthy to go in. You'll be told you can't come in, which is fine. They can do that, and they do. Pretty strict with that. Well, actually, I don't know. Who you know can help. But anyways, it's in these temples alone where these special ceremonies take place, like a sealing. So if you're not married in the temple, if you're not married by someone who has the authority to seal, which is a very small amount of men across the world, then your marriage is not seen as one of these ones that can be everlasting. So you got to be married in the temple, get married by a certain man who's been given authority by the leaders of the church to say, you're sealed now, and then it actually means something. And so that takes place in a little room in the temple. Beautiful room. A lot of sparkly stuff in there. Chandelier. A lot of chairs. And most importantly, an altar in the middle of the room. Now, as I say these words out loud, as I reflect on my time within the Mormon church, which was from 0 till like 26 or 27. A lot of language, a lot of sights and scenes that I just saw as normal because, just that is what it is. And I look back and I'm like, hold up. Here's one of them. So there's an altar in the middle. Don't worry, nothing's getting sacrificed, okay? What's at this altar is me on one side, Madison on the other side. And we are not wearing a wedding dress and a suit. Okay, we have changed into the temple clothing, which is a specific outfit for a man, specific outfit for a woman that is worn at different times in the temple. Okay, there's a uniform essentially worn. There's for me, a hat involved. For men, a little hat involved. For women, a veil. Different sashes, different aprons. Very Masonic. All right, like the Freemasons. Religions around the world there are, you enter this sacred space, you wear specific clothing, not too unsimilar to that. So when we were legitimately and legally married, we were not wearing the suit and wedding dress that we had purchased for our wedding. If the vibe isn't clear already, okay, and not to spoil the ending, but let's just say me and Madison have definite plans to renew vows and put on a wedding, basically a wedding that better reflects us as people than what we were compelled to do at that age. Because I was 24 when I got married. Madison was 21 when she got married, when we got married. And so we were young. We also very much believed in this faith and very much believed that we needed to do what we did to be together forever, which was something that we wanted to do, wanted to be, and still. That would be great. So yeah. So when I speak about things, is I've got a type of way about feeling about it, and it's not great. But it is our wedding day story. So we are across from this altar. We're kneeling on the ground. Our loved ones are witnessing this. There's a nice gentleman that I grew up with. He was in my neighborhood who had this authority to seal us and also legally marry us. And so I don't remember a ton, but he gave a little speech about different types of love. And then we so again, being across from each other on this altar, I had one hand across the altar. Madison had another hand across the altar. And we held hands like in a handshake, but in a specific way that there are different kind of hand grips and shakes within different ceremonies within Mormonism. And so we did one of them. Again, I don't remember specifically which one. I only got married the one time, okay? So I don't remember the specific details. But we held hands in a special way, kind of shook hands in a special way. And the sealer, that's his position or role, said, you guys are now married legally, but also in the eyes of God forever and ever, if y'all keep the commandments, which obviously we're not anymore. I had coffee this morning. But, check. We got the job done. That was our wedding. That was our wedding. Was that all the celebration? No. We come out of the temple. I'm sure maybe you've seen, of videos of this or pictures. If not, you can easily find any Mormon couple, if they've got a wedding video. The big moment is the couple coming out of the temple. The family's waiting. So when you come out, that's like, yay, that's where the claps happen. So like at a typical, let's say more traditional wedding, at least here in America, you're watching, the bride and the groom, they trade vows, no vows within Mormonism at the ceremony. They trade vows, and then the officiant says, swap rings, you now kiss the bride, you guys are now married by the law and whatever, and then clap, walk down the aisle, woohoo. That happens post the actual ceremony within Mormonism. So after we get married, there are some small congratulations, again, from people who are allowed to go in. So there were people that I would have loved to see me get married that weren't allowed to, like my sisters, like my younger brother. Not allowed. Whether it's from age things. Okay, you have to be at least 18 to go to a Mormon wedding. You have to be found worthy to go to the temple as well. So if you've been drinking coffee, if you've been sitting in such a way that your religious leader, your local leader says, no, you can't go to the temple, then you can't attend the wedding. So again, there were people who attended my wedding, frankly, who I was like, I don't know why you're here, but okay. And then there were people who I would have loved to have been there that weren't allowed. And that makes me so sad. So, on the long list of reasons of why a redo or more true to ourselves ceremony is in the works to sometime happen in our lives, mine and Madison's, that's a big reason why. It's because there are people we wanted there that weren't allowed. And that made some sort of sense in the grand scheme of things, or something that I could look past for the greater good, I guess, at the time. Which I was like, if that's necessary to be together with Madison for forever, then that's something I'll do. Not invite or not have loved ones around. That's a a lame part that I'm willing to accept for the privilege of being married to Madison for forever. But looking back, I'm just like, man, that just bums me out big time. Big time. So in the redo wedding, Grace and Claire and Jack, you're invited. This time around, you can come. Okay? But there's a reception afterwards. That's, that's a traditional thing. What you can do, and I'm sure that there'll be people who, might listen to this and be like, hey, well, I had a more traditional wedding. You can do that now. That is more acceptable now. And there are red lines that don't exist anymore that do allow you to have a more traditional wedding legally. And then do the sealing part separately. And you can do that in the same day. In some countries, that was by law required, like England for a long time. And still, like, even if you were Mormon, it was like, okay, we don't recognize your wedding or your marriage, like, legally, unless it's done, like, a certain way. And that didn't allow it to be in the temple. But in America, you could. And there was a church rule that if you got married more traditionally, you'd have to wait an entire year before you could get sealed. I think it was there to, like, you got to prove it to us that you, like, really like each other or something. I don't know the reasoning. They took away that rule, which is a big deal, but I don't think they really gave a reason beyond maybe a couple sentences of, like, this seems like a good idea now. I don't know. But, yeah, our wedding was very much not the way we would have planned our own wedding if we felt like we had more of a choice. Now, I can look back at September 24th, 2019 and be so happy that it exists as a day. It is the day that Madison and I got married. It's a day that my life changed in a huge way and in the best way. And I look back at it and there's so much that I would have rather done if the element of choice was available. And it wasn't. In its honest, truthful way, it wasn't. And that sucks. Now, what doesn't suck is that Madison and I are in pretty clear agreement that we didn't like that. Even at the time, it was not our favorite thing. And then, especially as we've grown and have both left Mormonism, we're just like, that was not a true reflection of ourselves, especially now. And so, yeah, we are going to do, at some point, maybe at 10 years, we're celebrating 7 years this year, maybe at 10 years, wedding do-over for ourselves because we can and we want to. Okay? And I say all of this to say that I absolutely support whatever Taylor and Travis did. Okay? However tacky some people may have seen it to be. However, millennial coded it seemed to some people. However, gross and ugly Madison Square Garden was, I don't freaking care. I try not to swear on this podcast. That's why I said freaking. But I don't freaking care, because as someone who got married in a form and fashion that was not true to himself, but did it because felt like that was the only way to do it, let her get married wherever she wants to. Let him get married wherever he wants to. Let Adam Sandler do the officiating. Would I have Adam Sandler up there? Doo-ba-da-da, you're now married. No. But I'm not them. All right? Would I have what's been reported 20-minute vows back and forth, okay, and Taylor singing some of them? Would I have sung my vows? No. But she did, and good for her. Okay, so people saw some of the decorations, because there's like leaked footage when I was doing research for this podcast, and people had opinions on the floral arrangements and the bouquet, and what was done and what wasn't done. You can have your opinions, whatever. Okay, they're public figures. I'm not telling you not to have opinions. What I am saying for my opinion is that I don't have an opinion other than do what you want. Okay, because if all goes to plan, this is the one and last wedding you're going to have. So make it your day. Make it your day. Okay, who cares about what looks good, what other people will be, accepting or whatever? And clearly, to me, they don't. And good for them. And good for them. That's why I have no opinion on their wedding and how they did it, other than do what you want. Okay? Because it can be ugly or gross or not up to par to anyone's opinion. If you love it, good, because it is your freaking day. Your wedding can be 5 minutes long. It can be 5 hours long. It can be 24 hours long. It can be an elopement. It can be whatever you want it to be, because it's yours. Okay, so have it at Madison Square Garden, Taylor Swift. Invite Benson Boone. Have him flip a couple times. Okay, because it's your day. It's Travis's day. It's their day together. Who cares? Who cares? Who cares? Which I think is a great mindset for so many things in life, but especially when it comes to two happy people who are in a relationship. Opinions on that relationship. Your moms, your dads, your mother-in-laws, your father-in-laws, your friends, your siblings, your surrounding circle, whatever. Now, there is a fine line. Not a fine line, but there is a point where it's like, okay, if like 20 people are coming to me and saying like they've got an opinion on maybe how my partner treats me, I should listen, or maybe something like that. That's, to me, in a different realm that I'm talking about. I'm talking about if, let's say, you and your partner, it's your anniversary, and you're like, you know what, we're actually going to our favorite, we're going to Raising Cane's. I don't know, maybe that's where you had your first date, and it's meaningful to you, and you say to someone, they're like, oh, Raising Cane's, but it's an anniversary, somewhere fancy, or like maybe Chili's. I'm kidding, but like, maybe, oh, it's your anniversary, you should be, and then you're like, oh, okay, well, they said like, it was a bigger thing, so maybe we shouldn't do. Are they invited? You're not having one of my chicken fingers from my box combo. You're not hanging out with us. Who cares? Who cares? Okay, and things that are more traditional, like weddings, things that are more traditional, like an engagement ring, or where you get engaged, how you get engaged, how you get married, where you get married, those kinds of things, people will have their opinions, okay? Your family members will have opinions. Your friends will have opinions. The opinions that matter the most, yours and your loved one. You and your life partner. Because the last thing I want anyone to do is to be thinking to themselves, well, in 10 years, I hope we have a little redo where we can have a wedding that we really actually like. And for Madison's case, wear a dress that I like, because that didn't happen before. And in my case, wear my suit, swap vows. Because that's where I'm at. That's where we're at. And as happy as I am at the thought of creating this new wedding, wish it would have been the first one. Okay, so, I just had all that on my mind when I was seeing people's thoughts and opinions, where I was like, who cares? Okay, and I know a lot of us do, and I'm sharing my opinion on people's opinions of their opinions of their opinions. It's like a little Russian nesting doll that I'm adding discourse to. But when it comes down to your big day, your big wedding day, okay, and I think for most people, when they get married, the plan is this is the one and only time. All right. I just want people to do whatever they want to do. Have a wedding where you all wear black. But the dress is supposed to be white on the bride. Who cares? Who cares? Oh, he's not wearing a suit. He's wearing one of those shirts that looks like a tuxedo. Who cares? Are you getting married? And have your opinion. Whatever. Again, people have opinions. I'm not the person who's going to try to shut down your ability to have an opinion. But the response to the opinion is at the end of the day. It's not your day. All right? If I'm that bride or that groom, have your opinion. You can even share it if you want. All right, go ahead. Speak up. And then at the end of all of them, I would say, and aren't you happy then that it's not your wedding? Then aren't you happy that you're down there, not up here? Because I would understand that if you're saying all this and then you're up here, that would be concerning. Yeah, but happy for you. You just get to sit down there. Yay! For the both of us, me and you. Woohoo! That would be my thoughts. And those are my thoughts. My ramblings about Taylor Swift's wedding, my own wedding, and just marriage in general. A little history lesson we had there, because at the end of the day, let this be the final takeaway for today's episode of on love and marriage and weddings. It's your connection. It's your relationship. It's your day. Don't forget that. And I'm happy that Travis and Taylor did not forget that. Until next time. Goodbye.